Holiness, we know that you're extremely busy. You're heading over the Art of Living Foundation, which is represented in 151 countries around the globe. You have thousands, if not millions, of followers in India. You are the co-founder, the founder of the World Forum for Ethics in Business, and we are looking much forward to your speech. Could we call on His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency, the President of Slovenia, and Ms. Petlet are one of the main members of our World Forum for Ethics in Business and member of European Parliament. I'm so pleased to be here with you all today, in this beautiful day, in this beautiful spot. You know, when you walk around the graveyard, you find something written that so-and-so born on such and such a date and died on such and such a date. They don't indicate they lived in between those 2 days. Life needs to be honored. Ethics is simply honoring that period between birth and death. What we don't want others to do to us, we don't want to do to others. This is the basic rule of ethics. Just imagine you are running a business, and the employees who are working under your umbrella, they don't follow any ethics, they don't follow any business, any discipline. Will you be able to run the business? This is a big question. And the obvious answer is certainly not. So when I expect people under me to be honest, to be integrated, to have certain sense of responsibility, and I expect people above me to behave in certain manner, we expect banks to be honest, banks to be accountable, banks to be reliable. And in between these, when we do our business, and if we don't follow ethics, it simply doesn't make any sense. So, we expect others to be ethical, and if we are not ethical, we are not setting an example. We are not. This is exactly what need to change, that our expectation from others and our own behavior. It took almost 10 years for communism to come down, but it took few months for capitalism to collapse. You already heard about it. Why? It's just the greed of a few people that made millions suffer around the world. Without humanism, without compassion, without sense of responsibility, I tell you, no ism will work. Communism will not work, have failed. Capitalism will have failed. Every ism will fail if we don't have the humanism. And business with humanism is what I would call as business, ethics in business. We need to replace corruption with compassion. We need to re-establish commitment and trust. Trust is the backbone of business. We expect others to keep our trust, and if we don't keep it, then that is lack of ethics. So we keep the trust of others as we expect others to keep our own trust. Then there is enough for everybody in the planet. You know, as Mahatma Gandhi had said once, the planet Earth has enough to the need of everybody, but not enough to the greed of everybody. Greed needs to be replaced by service, by sense of responsibility, social responsibility. It's not just enough to produce things, but we need to empower the people to be able to buy it. You know, you produce wonderful television sets, but people are poor, they can't buy it, they can't afford to buy it. Then you also go down. So we live in an interrelated, interconnected world. So every move of ours affects every other individual in the society. Just being conscious of this fact that we contribute, we affect the growth or decay of the society, brings that responsibility that is so much needed in today's business community. I'm happy that these days people are becoming more and more aware, because they have seen the consequences of unethical business. You can rise very high, but then you have to keep counting the bars in the prison. Sooner or later, you will land up in the prison. One of the main advantages of an ethical business, as I spoke to a very honest businessman, you know, he said, Gurudev, if I do unethical business, I lose sleep. So I don't want to lose my sleep and lose my health. So I want to have good night's sleep. So I do ethical business. So for one's own personal benefit, to have a good sleep and a happy holiday with the family, one had to be in an ethical business. And I tell you, it is worth that. Because all that money we earn, what for it is if we have no happiness in life? The purpose of business is comfort and happiness. If business does not bring you comfort and happiness, you could as well live in poverty. The purpose of money is to bring you comfort. And we miss the boat if we don't understand this crucial, central focus of our existence. Business is not for business sake. Usually, we spend half of our health to earn wealth and try to spend half of our wealth to gain back the health, which normally doesn't happen. I think it's a bad economics. Our health is important. To have a vibrant health, our spirit, our mind is very important. And to have that mind in the right place, ethical business is inevitable. It's inevitable. Just let's see around. There are ample examples of people who have been doing business ethically and still have made a good profit, have made a lot of profit. The challenge with youngsters is usually young people ask, look, someone did unethical practice and they have made millions, and I am doing ethical business, I am not able to grow. I tell you, it's not worth the lack of peace and disturbance that he has, and later one day, for sure they are going to reap the consequence of one's action. So it's better to be on the safer side, have a good sleep and happy holiday with your family and do ethical business. And there are a number of examples, as I said, that people have been successful doing ethical business. It's not that only unethical way you can make a lot of money. This is a myth. And all those who have done that way have found their fall very quickly. So you have heard about all the dot-coms and all that, Wall Street and many such businesses which have just gone down the drain in no time. It's a wake-up call for our young people to look within oneself and see how we can progress. Following the precepts of ethics. As I said, compassion, commitment are two essential ingredients of life. Without this, life has no charm. Nor you will have a sustained growth in your business or entrepreneurship, whatever you are taking into it. Today, even United Nations has acknowledged it's not GDP but GDH, which is even more important than GDP. Gross domestic happiness. We cannot ignore this. Happiness is an important factor. And I tell you, a small country like Bhutan, they top the index of happiness. And you walk around and there is people with big smile and so happy and content, yet moving towards prosperity. And I see Slovenia has such a possibility. A small country with 2 million people, it's easy to manage. I suppose so. Because we come from a country of 1.2 billion people. I know His Excellency may not agree with me on. So from a different perspective, I'm saying it's easy to educate people in ethics. It's easy to bring this awareness of happiness. Create a wave of happiness in this country. It's possible. I want to tell you about Japan. You know, Japan is a very progressive country. It's very good. But you know, 30,000 youths are committing suicide every year. It's a huge number. So last May when I met the Prime Minister of Japan, he mentioned to me, Gurudev, what do we do? See, 30,000 youths are committing suicide. Economically, we are well off. These young people have 2 cars at home. They have whatever they need. We are ready to provide. But there is something that money cannot provide. In spite of opulence, in spite of abundance here, our youths are into depression. 2 million youths are in depression and 30,000 youths are committing suicide. We don't have an answer for this. What is that we can do? You know? We took a project there, you know, creating waves of happiness, bringing people together. Okay, come, let's breathe together, sing together, meditate together. A few minutes of calming the mind and going deep within yourself. You have a space that is so beautiful deep within you. Calming the mind and meditating, you know, it can create a big difference. And it saved so many lives from the verge of committing suicide and getting into depression. In Germany alone, 40% of school teachers are depressed. This is alarming. Just imagine you go to your kid, happy kid goes to the classroom and he finds the teacher so depressed. What do you expect for the child to come out of the school with? It's unfortunate. So we need to remember one of the signs of success is a big smile with confidence. The confidence we can face any challenge. As you can see with Mr. Petlet, he has a big smile. So does His Excellency. So this confidence and a smile is a marker for success to me. You know, if you have a big bank balance and your face is so dull and completely exhausted and depressed, what good is that money for? You know, people make a lot of money, put it in the bank and they die. It's like all night trying to make the bed and no time to sleep. By the time you went to sleep, you're already gone. So you're making bed all night. This is exactly what's happening today. People put all their money in the bank and they die, and their children fight over those. 90% of the court cases, or usually even in India and many other places, I don't know about Slovenia, are about the inheritance. If hard-earned money of one's own money, you don't have so many court cases. It's only the inheritance that the people fight about. And this is happening. Is this the way of living? Is this what we mean by success in business? And there is no success. What's the point of doing business? Trust is the backbone of business. Success is the goal of business. And if we lose these two things, the goal and the backbone, and it's a lame business which is good for nothing, brings you more sickness. So to summarize, I would say, business cannot be run without certain degree of integrity, certain degree of commitment, certain degree of loyalty, integrity, honesty, or ethics. It's impossible to run. And when we start from our own side, we will set an example for people working under us and people who are above us to follow the same. So trust is essential. Today people are not even, they are losing trust even to put money in their banks. It was in the business, slowly it has crept into banks also. You don't know, you keep your money in the bank, tomorrow you don't know, you may be asked to pay 10% or 20% of it. Huh? So such a fear and uncertainty takes over society. And then comes the crime, violence, crime. These things will creep up. So honesty and ethics in business can chuck crime and violence from the society. A corporate social responsibility among the business can enable to bridge the gap between the haves and have-nots. And in that way also can check violence and crime in society. Otherwise we are sitting on an explosive, Anytime a section of society can come to streets and create havoc, wherein the business community will be the biggest sufferer of it. We have seen this happening in Paris for days, maybe weeks. A section of society was on rampage and all business was shut down. We lost millions in those 2 weeks in Paris. So, we are not living in an isolated society. We are part of a whole, wherein the politics, the business, and the faith groups, NGOs, all of us have to come together. All of us have to work towards building a better society, a better country. For this, we all have to commit ourselves. Our life is so short on this planet. Just look at the economics of your own life. Suppose you live for 80 years. How do you spend those 80 years? Have you thought about it? In the 80 years, 40 years you spend in sleeping, in bed, nearly half the time. If you are sick, you can add few more years here or there. Per day, if you spend 2 hours in food, breakfast, lunch and dinner, you would be spending nearly 8 years in eating. Similarly, 8 to 10 years in bathrooms and toilets. If you live in a big city like New York or Frankfurt, put 10, 15 years in traffic jams and working. If you analyze how we are spending our life, you will find hardly 2-3 years of our life we would have spent happily. So this is the time that we are really living our life. The rest is just a preparation to live life. So the vibrancy in life comes with commitment to service. A portion of what we earn, if we give for corporate social responsibility, to help, never mind. It is indicating my time is up. So we need to see that how we can contribute to society instead of wanting to get it from society. So if every business house, every entrepreneur think about how we can develop a harmonious society which has more smiles, then we'll be able to move on to a new era of healthy and happy living. Thank you very much.